Welcome to the Wholesale Nation Podcast. I'm Undrea King.
And I'm Andy Speed.
And guys, if this is your first time tuning in, this is the show where we teach you everything you need to know about wholesaling. We'll give you all the tips and tricks that you need to succeed. And also, we are the owners of Drayco Properties. So if you have a property that you're looking to move, hit us up at offers@draycoproperties.com. And of course, we need your help. If you like what you hear today, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and leave us a review. With that said, let's go ahead and get this thing kicked off. As you can see, we have a guest in the studio today, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. We have Mr. Anthony Epps. Man, welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys? I'm glad you guys brought me in, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. So it was a pleasure having you in Houston. So you hit us up the other day. Say, hey, I'm in Houston.
That's right.
On a Friday.
That's right.
Bad weather day. The weather probably wasn't that well. Probably wasn't that good when you came in.
The text was like, "Hey guys, what are you doing right now?" It's like, well, damn, I had plans.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to make it work. It was like, he just said he's here now, so does that mean we're doing something right now? Yeah. But yeah, technically, I guess we could have done something on Saturday. Typically, we're like, I'm really busy on Saturdays, but plans change. But yeah, it's good to have you in town.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, we've been buddies for a while, so I said, I'm gonna hit my boys up and see what they got going on, and here we are. So
there we go.
Yeah. Should have introduced him as a D lineman for the Packers. If you're not watching this on YouTube right now, Anthony's a bigger guy and he's all decked out in Packers gear.
Yeah. My team won yesterday, so I had to represent.
Yeah, so here for the Houston and Packers game.
That's right.
It was horrible.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad game.
Yeah, it was good for us, though.
Yeah, it was good for you.
Yeah.
Horrible for them. I'm gonna say them. I'm not even claiming them. So,
a little bit more. You are coming to Houston because you are scoping out the market. You're moving here. You want to take a few minutes to tell us about yourself and your business?
Yeah, actually, been in the real estate business since 2000. Actually, 2008 is when I actually kind of delve into the whole aspect of wholesaling and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. So people are running from real estate in 2008. You're running to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
At that time, it was, it was a lot of gloom and doom. We were obviously in a recession, headed to a bigger recession. And then, I said, you know what, I need to branch out because I was always an entrepreneurial person at heart. And I was working my full-time job and just wanted a way out, Right. And so I got wind of real estate a year prior, but didn't actually come across wholesaling until like a whole year and a half later. And, tried to do a couple of different things. We started doing the short selling and whatnot. And I closed my first deal in March of 2009. So this was, it took me a good 7-8 months just to even get that first deal. And but I was happy when I got it because, I was able to get my truck out of repo. And, I was like, ooh, I got to put some money in my pocket. And I went to a training in Vegas that same month in March. So it kind of, that gave me the taste in my mouth that I needed.
Yeah.
Just to say that, wow, this is.
Why did it take you 7-8 months to get your first deal?
Well, the deal that I had on the table that I was working, it was kind of like a combined conventional / wholesale deal because the owner of the property reached out to me. I maybe had like 5 people on my email list, and he was my buyers list basically. And so he reached out to me. He had a property that he basically converted to a free and clear home. I don't know how he did it because it had a mortgage on it, but I guess he did it through some type of bond where he was able to get the mortgage wiped out. Right. And so it was.
It sounds like 2009.
Yeah. Some ladybird deeds going on.
But I was like, okay. And so he approached me. He said, hey, if you help me sell this house, I'll give you 10%. Or whatever it sells for. So, I'm running to the basis trying to get a buyer to come to this and buy this house. So, and it was a higher end home, so it was, a deal that I knew if I could get it where I needed to sell it at, it was about $30,000 in my pocket. And, but it took long because the buyer because I actually was working with another person who actually brought the buyer. They were getting a conventional mortgage on it, but they also wanted some cash out.
Right.
So back then that was kind of the trend too. People were looking for cash out at closing. So
I should be paid to buy a house.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so the house eventually sold for like $357, I think. And at the end of the day, the guy netted like $2 something, and he paid me like $19,000. which was good, you know.
Right.
So I didn't have to physically put the house under contract and do that. It was just basically for orchestrating the deal. And he paid me $19,000.
Also known as brokering without a license.
That was in 09, by the way.
You know what? I was like, dang. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
when
real estate license.
Wasn't a conventional wholesale deal, but but you also got to look at, you were in 09. Like now, if somebody wanted to wholesale, they almost like don't have an excuse.
That's right.
Because you can jump on YouTube and find whatever you need to find.
You can find whatever you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did you find wholesaling then? In 09?
Man, I was actually an email came across to me in regards to short selling. You know how you can basically buy a house, negotiate the short sale, and basically be able to market the property. And so that's how I actually came across the wholesaling, because to me that was what they were doing. So I was like, okay, well, that seems like something I can do, because I didn't have any money. I didn't have good credit to get a hard money loan to buy a house, fix it up, and flip it. So I was trying to find a way to get into the business without any money out of my pocket, you know, and just be able to like I said, wholesale a deal. So that was the first time I actually heard the term, because it was a teleseminar that I jumped on. Right. And that's how it came about. So I said, you know what, I'm going to look into this, more so. And that was August of 2008. That was August of 2008. Yep. And actually that was the same month I left my job. Yeah. Yep.
All right. So took off from there. And then what'd you do? Did you do another deal right after that, or did it take a little while?
The next one didn't happen until May of 2009. So it was like 2 months later. And it was actually a short sale deal, my first short sale that I negotiated and sold to an investor. Right. Yeah, it was a little cheap townhouse, and so I made like $2,500 on it. But to me, hey, I was cool with that.
Yeah. Second deal is momentum.
That's right. So throughout that time, when you're first starting out, you do one or two deals that month, and then you may go another month or two and don't do any deals. Right. So it was a lot of inconsistency with that, and I wish I would have known then what I know. What I know now. I wish I would have known some of this stuff back then. But as far as having coaches and mentoring and being able to know how to market consistently to get the lead flow that you need. Right. But at that point, I'm just trying to make some money and keep the bills paid and do what I need to do. So we were doing all the bandit signs and stuff like that back then.
Right. So it seems there's a recurring theme amongst newer entrepreneurs, and nearly every wholesaler that we talk to. They either get stuck in that 1 to 2 deals per month forever.
Yeah, that's right.
Or it's that like 3 to 4 and then 3 months without a deal. That's so you're still averaging out at 1 to 2 deals per month. What is it like? What do you guys think it is that helps you get out of that? Because I mean, obviously we've made it all through that. Is it just more marketing money? Is it like, what is that answer? 'Cause how long did you spend in the 1 to 2 deals per month?
It was a few years, man. Definitely a few years.
So for me too, it was a year and a half.
So what got you out of it?
When I got into a mastermind, and started to really look at marketing as an investment. Because, in the beginning, you're trying to hold on to that money. You don't want to put it out, because there's no guarantee that you'll get a return on that marketing money. Yeah. So that had a lot to do with it, because it's kind of like a circle. You know that, well, if my deals are coming sparingly, I don't know when that next deal is coming. So I don't want to spend $4 or $5 grand on direct mail or whatever, and because I wasn't doing direct mail until 2016. So had I done it a lot sooner, maybe I could have done more deals. Yeah. Just because that was another marketing strategy. I wasn't door knocking. I was basically putting out signs and getting referral. If someone called me with the lead and I can make some money off of it, that's pretty much how my lead flow was at that moment in time. So I didn't have a consistent leads coming in, a lead flow of leads coming in. So
yeah, so it sounds like
all those guys out there knocking wholesalers. Yeah. We invest in something that's not asset-based, guys. Yeah. We invest in marketing, and it's not guaranteed to come back. You go put $100 grand into a house, you got at least a house to pay for, to back it.
Yeah. Because that marketing money, like I say, you got to know what you're marketing for, and you're hoping you turn a profit off of it.
Yeah, that 1 to 2 deals per month, man. It tests your relationship with money, doesn't it? Yeah, it tests it. It tests your faith.
Yeah, but it's funny you said that. It's when you went to a mastermind, right? Because I think for me that would be my same answer.
Yeah,
me too.
That was the change. I went and saw somebody else that was doing it, and I think you always say, as an investor, we're on Investor Island, right? I think is the term you always say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's when you get out among somebody else that's doing it at a higher level.
That's right.
And that's what I saw, right?
That's
when
right.
we jumped into, I think, when I got into a boardroom and I saw other people doing it.
That's right.
And I was like, okay.
This is what I need to do.
Yeah,
Okay,
I need to hire
I
some people. I need to get some things going. Because before that, it was just, it was just like you said, it's just you
winging it.
You're
Yep.
doing a few, and you don't see yourself getting out of it.
That's right.
And then it does help to meet your heroes too.
Yeah.
You know, they say don't meet your heroes because they're human, they're normal. It's like, wait a second, this guy's making $1 million a month.
Yeah.
Shoot, I can do that too.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm smarter than him.
Man, you just like, man, or at least you say, well, I can at least do 10% of that.
Yeah. That's usually how it goes. That's usually how it goes. It's like, oh, wait a minute, I got at least a little part of that.
Right. So yeah, that's exactly when kind of the light switch turns on, and you're like, okay, well, let me start doing this. And like you said, by that time when I got into the mastermind, I was doing okay for just a solopreneur. I think at that time I had, I saw myself, doing a little bit more.
So for a mastermind, for those, because there's a lot of people who are stuck in that 1 to 2, right? And they keep hearing this word mastermind. So, and you really don't know what goes on into a mastermind until you invest and go get into
That's
one.
right. That's
so
right.
what goes on in a mastermind that causes you that pushes you over and starts you to doing more?
Anthony shows up on time.
Yeah,
Right. That's one.
What happens
That's
usually is
number
we
one.
start, and about 20 minutes in, the door opens very loudly and slams, and Anthony appears in the
I gotta
back.
have my breakfast too, man.
Yeah.
So I gotta have my breakfast, and so they always get on me about that. But yeah, what goes on is collaboration, and you see from a peer-to-peer level from somebody that you didn't necessarily know before, that's in a totally different market, and they're expressing some similar things that you're expressing, and then so you have different levels, so it doesn't mean that everybody's on the same level in the mastermind. Right. It just means that your peers in the same business, and somebody could be doing $150,000 a month, and you're only doing $20,000 a month,
right?
But at the same time, you're coming together, and now you can really see, okay, what is this person doing to generate that? And for me, it was just, like you said, just being able to put it in pure black and white of what I wasn't doing, and then see how I can get, level up.
Right. Yeah, and it's taking those 2 to 3 things that you pick up there and then going to implement it in your business, and that's what kind of pushes you ahead.
That's right.
Right. So I would encourage, anyone that's stuck in that. I think we've heard it from just about everybody we've brought on that if you're not part of any type of mastermind or something like that, of people of like mind that'll help you, that you can learn from. Yeah. You want to check it out.
And it's an investment. I mean, obviously, with that, but at the same time, you never look at an investment as a cost. Right. That's investment is something you're going to get a return from. So you definitely are going to get a return from joining a mastermind. Yeah,
there's been multiple years where we spent, you spent $40,000 or whatever it may be on the mastermind. That $40,000 has a return of
infinite.
10 times that.
Yeah, 10 times that easy.
In a year, it's definitely worth it because and to what Undrea said, it really is those 1, 2, 3 nuggets that you pick up on each individual trip.
That's right.
And that you can go and implement. If you do implement them, it does make a massive impact on the bottom line of your business, for sure.
And I think the other side of it is the relationships, right? The reason why you're sitting here right now is because of that.
That's right.
It's because of
I would have never known you guys.
Right. The reason we're sitting here right now. It's
because
of a mastermind.
We're all sitting here right now because of a mastermind, right? Andy and I, same thing. So definitely look into that. I know that you have YouTube out there and a bunch of free information. Start there, get all the free information. But once you start getting to where you're doing 1 or 2 deals, I would look into getting a great mastermind, which will help you grow out of that box that you're probably in right now.
Yeah,
okay?
for sure.
All right, so you got the mastermind, and things started changing for you, right? So what did you start doing, and how did your business start changing for you from doing the 1 or 2 deals?
From that, I actually started to build a team, and then invest in more marketing, because at the end of the day, you're looking at the money you spend out. It should be a correlation to what you get on the back end.
Right.
So now, I mean, you have some people that say they don't spend any money on marketing, and they do. Well, I mean, that's unicorn.
Right.
You gotta invest in marketing for your business.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I started marketing more, and I started to see more of the return. And I was like, wow, I should have been doing this years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
Just that simple.
Right. You know, and obviously, me being, a salesperson, just at heart, so I was able to, get deals under contract and close them, and and then just with the increase in revenue profits, you can do more marketing, but also you can do other things too. You know, so that was a direct result of going to the Mastermind and building a team. Getting someone that can take calls for me instead of me taking the calls. Now I have somebody on the team that could take those calls, and it freed me up to at least go out to the appointments and not necessarily have to talk to the people up front. Right. So that was a start, that I had to have too. So
So what does your business look like now then?
Right now it's myself. I had a couple acquisition managers, so we're going to be looking at bringing on a couple more. Because the other two we just had to separate. With this, especially with this year that came in with the COVID, it just kind of really shed some light on, from a business perspective, what needs to be done to really go to that next level. So
did you find a bunch of waste or inefficiencies?
Yeah, just inefficient. Not basically being the right people in that seat. From an acquisition standpoint. Now
so hard.
It is hard. It's
That's
hard.
so hard.
Yeah, and now I will say my lead managers, they're strong. They're on point.
Now they're in office VAs, or
they're virtual assistants. Okay. Yeah, they VAs, and they do the cold calling. They take on as leads come in. I mean, they're on it.
Where are they at?
Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
he's got roosters in the background.
Yeah.
And then one of them, he's been with me for I want to say 6 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's kind of like, he's my lead VA, and he kind of manages the other two that are underneath him. So that helps out. And he's very organized. He knows the business, and he's almost like an in-house employee, for sure. So
6 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And that's the way to make them feel, right? It needs to feel like they're like a part of the team.
That's right.
And I like that you said you got someone that's managing them as well. You got one person that's managing them, because then we found out the hard way over time that if you, like when we started the cold call center, is that you got to have somebody managing.
That's right.
You start off well, and then you go over time. If you don't manage it, then you have things like them singing in the background.
No, we did help somebody audition for Philippines Got Talent or something. She was singing like crazy. Never disposing of the call, so it would never end. She'd just sit there and sing for 20 minutes.
And I swear she had one of those things that would just point at the clicker. And
did not answer. No
way.
She just had it doing just back and forth. Because the person, she just whatever, she definitely wasn't there. Yeah. Somebody else was clicking the button for sure. But definitely if you're gonna jump out and get some VAs, don't think that they're just going to know the job. You still got to go out. You still have to train them. You still have to manage. And then, like Anthony said, then get somebody that can manage them.
That's right. Get someone that can, has some type of managerial capabilities, and, they can, because he actually recruits other VAs. If I say, hey, I think I want to add another person, he'll vet them out. And so the two that we have now underneath him were referrals from him.
Right.
Okay.
And so that worked out. And we have a transaction coordinator. Obviously, have a realtor on our team, and so we pretty much kind of are really lean right now. But I'm doing it just because I'm looking at the bigger picture now of going into the new year, how we want to branch out.
Right. So this is, and if you guys haven't scaled yet, this is a recurring problem. Like Anthony and I were talking while Undrea was doing something. You were on the phone with somebody, but. This is a recurring theme. Like we're always hiring, training, and firing. Training, and firing. Yeah. Like how do you? We all know that step number one is get the right person on the bus. Yeah. Get the right person in the right seat. Yeah. How the hell do you do that?
Man, it's tough. It's tough. And I'm even still learning myself. Is I'm looking at different people that teach on like training on hiring. Harper. Yeah. Looking into that, and just or looking at hiring a company or somebody to bring the right people in. But at the end of the day, I mean, like you said, they still got to pan out for you per se. I mean, you can have somebody can be a really good hire, but they still may not last. Right.
Or they clash with you. Like you don't get along.
That's right.
This person's a person on the sales, but then they come in and you're like, you don't like that person.
That's right.
You can't stand to look at them.
Yeah, you just don't. You don't clash. They don't. And then they want to do their own thing.
I don't care. Go sell.
That's what I just say.
Go sell. Don't call me.
Right.
Don't call me unless you're calling me to sign a contract.
That's it. That's it. So we're always looking for those. And I was listening to a podcast the other day, and the person was asking, well, we all want to hire A players, and the guy he was interviewing was saying, well, A player doesn't necessarily mean they're just the best of the best. Is that when they come in, are they coachable? Mm-hmm. Are they willing to learn? So it's those other things that make them an A player,
right,
because they'll eventually get to where you want them to get to.
Right.
It's just that, we think A player is just somebody who comes in and they're ready to run right out the gate. And that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, and I agree with that sentiment. I mean, an A player to me would be somebody that's willing to come in and fail, willing to come in and learn from it, willing to come in and get better.
That's right.
If you're coming to me with every little problem that you have, you're not really why do I have you?
That's right.
So what are you doing? So you're acquisition manager free right now. How are you filling that hole?
And they were going to appointment also?
Before the pandemic, they were mostly face-to-face.
Okay.
And then I had stepped in a little bit doing more of the virtual things, as far as, selling over virtually, getting contracts that way. So right now, that's pretty much how we're operating right now. It's just from a virtual. I mean, I'm my next group is going to definitely be more focused on virtual acquisitions versus having to do the face-to-face, even though there will be still some component with that. But then you have, the other side of it where, people they just feel that they have to have their team go to that house because they can put a pen in that person's hand and sign that contract. We all know that the times of, or the efficiency sometimes when you're doing virtual and you're sending a contract to someone for them to sign, because you're at the mercy of them signing it and actually sending it back to you.
Right. But it's what problems you want to live with. It's a choice.
That's a choice. It's basically the choice you have. And then true, you may lose out on some deals that you just don't go and see face to face, because if somebody else is face to face, they may get that just because that person may see that they may have a more rapport with that person, seeing them face to face, as opposed to you not being there face to face.
Right.
So
the crappy answer to all that is.
So kind of how you guys.
It's more marketing.
It's more marketing. But I would say that, and you probably experienced, this is probably what happened, is that your salespeople were going on appointments, right? And then you transitioned to them buying over the phone.
That's right. And it was difficult for them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We broke our salespeople when we did that, man.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on that. So check it out. Look on the podcast. I think it's called Transitioning to
Buying over the phone, something like that.
Yeah.
But it is very different because you don't have the ability to, look them in the eyes and smile and read body language. You don't have the ability.
Things out that are issues with the house. It's hard to do that on the phone versus when you're right there.
Yeah, they're not. You can't smell the house over the phone, and they're not telling you how it smells. Like 5 layers of kills to get that cat smell out of there.
They're telling you everything is great about that.
Oh yeah.
You don't know nobody smoked in it for 40 years, or somebody smoked in it for 40 years. But the offset to that is our guys can go on 20 appointments in a day, whereas in person, maybe three.
And that's how I look at it too.
Maybe 3. Yeah.
That's the way I'm looking at it. Is you can hit so many more sellers over the phone than you can if you have to be face to face, and that's just kind of like my mindset about it. So
right.
It takes discipline, and I think a lot of it takes discipline to not lock up the deals where you can't get all the information that you need, or that you see you're going to cause problems with it being virtual.
That's right.
We have a lot of those where we've got one in Ohio right now that we've got a great deal on the line. We just can't sell the damn thing because we can't get in because we're not there.
You're just not there. Yeah.
So we're relying on buyers to go and remain honorable.
That's right.
With the seller there that's asking them all kinds of questions, et cetera.
Right. But buyers, some of them don't understand protocol when it comes to stuff like that, and so
Yeah, even if you tell them, they can still
could, right? You're right.
They can still do that. Because we tell them, and we still have that that same issue.
Yeah, and you get a seller calling you like, "Hey, what does they say about this? They say they're buying my house, and that you." I was like, "Oh, God,
right."
Yeah.
But
how that is.
But now you're saying that you're going to be going virtual, right?
That's right.
But right now, you, like Andy said, you're going to be acquisition list for a little bit.
That's right.
So what is that going to look like for you?
Well, more profit.
Yeah,
you're going to close more deals.
It's more profit.
You are going to close more deals.
And then. As so we're going to bring on, like I said, we're bringing on, she's going to be more like a cold caller for us, but she's going to be more follow-up but she's domestic, so she's stateside. And so I'm gonna, with her, she's gonna transition it to like an acquisition, and but also we are gonna bring in a couple more. My goal is definitely say by the first of the year, and to have at least 2 more that are on the phone that can, basically, do the virtual acquisitions.
Right.
And but right as it is right now, we'll close some more deals between now and the end of the year, and like you said, it's just more profit,
Right.
to add for us, and then just make sure we get a couple right people in, and it'll happen. I mean, like you said, you just can't be afraid of what may or may not happen. You just got to do it.
Right.
You just got to do it, and you'll learn from it, and I'll learn from it, and move it from there.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now you got to spend it. You got to. There is a tremendous return waiting for you.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of upside to virtual, and I think I would prefer virtual to in person now.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a learning curve.
Like, hey, I need you to go and check out this house.
Yeah. I've been to 2 appointments.
Miles away?
I've been to 2 appointments in the last 2 appointments in the last year probably, and they were both in the last month, and I'm just like, man, like this is too much.
Right, man. I don't want to do this.
I had to put on shoes for the first time in like 3 months.
As a matter of fact, the sales guy, the disposition guy is like, Andy, like, where are you going?
Why do you have on boots? It's like, because I'm playing insurance guy today.
Yeah.
Because I was the insurance guy coming in.
Yeah. And so definitely the virtual model. Because like I said, I've tested it even just with myself, and it works. You just gotta have the right people that know how to navigate it and still get to the close and move forward with getting the property under contract. So
Right.
But yeah,
okay,
it'll work.
Yeah, and so you mentioned to us also that you were looking to move into other markets. So I imagine you've been knowing the Georgia market very well. What markets do you work in Georgia, by the way?
We pretty much do all of Metro Atlanta.
Okay.
I mean, so it's not a spot I won't touch.
As long as the house is above 5,000 square feet. This man only posts mansions on Facebook.
Right.
He's like,
It's definitely a different market from ours.
he's like, great middle class home. It's like 8,000 square feet. It's got like
property.
this thing has a turret. Like, what is like what?
Great rental property. Airbnb and all that.
They live like kings in
One
ATL.
house, they actually, I bought that house with owner financing. So yeah, I'm basically, but I don't want to sell it, so I just want to rent it out. But then
So you do have the 6,000 square foot rental.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and actually we just put it on the market last week. So, but then we do creative strategies, subject twos and stuff like that. So that's another big component of our marketing.
You market directly to sub two. How do you treat that differently then?
It's no different. You because the seller doesn't necessarily know about sub two. You just have to kind of bring it to them to where if they and you kind of look at certain, like I can already look at a lead and say, you know what, this is going to be a sub two. If there's no equity, and based on some signals that I'm hearing from them if I talk to them that they really need to sell, they're moving, relocating, or some other factor, they've already bought a house or they're closing on a house, and this house that they're trying to sell is already at the peak value, or it needs repairs, and they don't have the money to do it, and even still, there's not an investor that will pay cash for that house.
Right.
I'm already sniffing that stuff out.
Is it a targeted list, or is it just opportunistic when you receive the inbound call?
When I see the lead. Now you can kind of formulate a list that will have a higher propensity of that seller to do sub two, which is maybe 20% or less equity when they bought it. And I would probably look at in the last 5 years.
Right.
Because typically a lot of your sub twos are going to be under a 5-year ownership.
Yeah. So are you doing any specific marketing tailored towards those types of assets?
We do. We're doing Facebook marketing, and it's specifically geared to people that are interested in having their payments taken over.
Okay.
So we're blatantly saying, hey, we will buy your house, taking over your payments. So
I think that's great. I put together a 5-piece campaign some years ago, And I never did it, but it was all I was too scared.
Yeah,
because it was
yeah,
it was kind of throwaway marketing, and it was not a small list of people. And I'm just like, oh man, do I really want to do I really want to spend $20,000 on something that's probably just not gonna have a return?
Yeah. And it may not be because the person that will sell their house, even whether it's owner financing or it's on a subject to, they have to be highly motivated.
Yeah,
they have to be highly motivated and. That's what you're just looking for, So
right.
so we're doing the Facebook marketing, and because I want that seller to know what they're opting in for. Like, oh yeah, this is what I need. I can't sell I've been trying to sell my house, and no realtor were listed, or they even tried to list it and it didn't sell, or nobody's offering me a cash offer that's going to pay off my mortgage. Yes, I want to. If you can buy my house, take it over my payments, I'll let you have it.
Yeah. Ooh, we need to do a high equity seller finance list.
Yeah,
or you can do that too. Yeah,
yeah. So
and call that out on Postcard.
And that's what I like, because what you've done is you've taken your marketing that you're already doing, right, and just found another way to be able to make money on it, basically, right? Yeah. So whether it's an owner finance or sub two, and then you looked at, okay, what do these people look like? Yeah. And now you're sending marketing directly to those people. So yeah, it's a way of once you learn those strategies, it's just more money at the end of the day, right? And some of it's long term.
How do you train your acquisition guys to see that opportunity?
I trained them on it, and even with the guys that I had, I trained them on how to identify a subject to, and to at least know that the opportunity was there.
Right.
And then they would just pass it to me to kind of
go ahead and knock it down.
Knock it down. But yeah, I trained them to notice that this is a subject to opportunity.
Right.
And it takes a little bit more training, but I'd rather them to know how to sniff it out, and then be able to at least talk enough of it to where the seller's like, yeah, I'll be interested in doing that.
I feel like we've trained over the years till we're blue in the face and haven't seen that that connection ever happen. Yeah, it's always been like really weird scenarios.
Follow up. We probably have to follow up and say, hey, where are they at? Because I just saw one. I think
you sent it. You sent it to me.
Perfect owner finance, where the guy has a rental property, doesn't know if he wants to sell it or keep it, but he has tenants that have tore it up. He's out of state. To me, that's a perfect seller finance.
Yes,
right? Because he wants to receive the rental. I mean, the money,
the monthly income.
So that's telling me
but
that's why he
doesn't want to sell it at a wholesale.
He doesn't want to sell it at a wholesale. He doesn't want to sell it and just take the cash. He just likes the monthly. So to me, that's a seller finance opportunity, at least a conversation to have with the person.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the different components of owner finance and how you structure it. So that's why you just kind of let train them on the high level piece of it. And then, bring it to you guys.
Just to recognize it.
Yeah, right. You just want them to recognize it,
Recognize it and take off from there.
And then, and with acquisitions, we train them on, it's 4 or 5 ways to really kind of look at a deal. Can we get it wholesale? Okay, if not, can we wholesale it? If not, can we get some type of creative strategy, owner finance or subject to? And if not, okay, can we just refer to a realtor and that way? So, but like you said, sometimes a lot of them, they don't really go the full ladder,
Right.
It's like, I don't think you're a good fit.
Wait a
second.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Wait.
They don't want to sell right now, or they, so
killed.
Yeah. But you got to have somebody that can do it though.
Not our seller. Dead lead.
Dead lead. Yeah. It's the way it works. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's how you do it, right? That helps you, especially in times like this. Your marketing money can go a lot further if you're finding different ways to be able to sell a property.
That's right. That's right.
And so now, as you go into these different markets, why go into a different market? Because it seems like to me like Atlanta, right? Just like we know Houston. Why would someone go into another market, or why would you choose to go into another market?
The main driving reason is, just different, a list of hedge fund buyers that I know that are looking in these other markets.
Right.
And if you can find the right property that fits their buy box, they'll buy it.
Right.
So to me, it's kind of like, well, because I've sold a couple houses to them already. It's almost like, well, if I can get a couple other deals in other markets that fit what they're looking for, I don't necessarily have to get it at 60 cents on the dollar, 65 cents on the dollar, because they'll buy it at, a decent, probably more than what any of your typical buyers would buy it at.
Right.
So it makes it makes it a little easier from that perspective. And, so that was pretty much the main driving force.
Right.
And then, you want to look at obviously your marketing costs, related to it, so you're figuring out, okay, what's going to be the most economical marketing strategy to do in these other markets without busting your budget.
Right.
So that's the piece. Now the next piece I'm looking at is, okay, well, do we start with cold calling? Do we, do some direct mail? However the case may be, to get that. So,
right. So you have the buyers already lined up now.
Yeah, I have a couple buyers that they're focused on these other markets, and so I'm like, well, shoot, I can put the pieces in place, the acquisition people to target, these other areas, and just try to hammer a couple deals. If, put it like this: if you could get an extra 2 to 3 deals a month from another market,
right?
I'll sign up for that all day.
Right. And where are you expanding to? Houston.
I like the Houston and Dallas markets, Tampa, Orlando, in other parts of some Florida, Charlotte, Raleigh.
Seems like he's following the boardroom.
Yeah.
I'm naming them people in all these different markets.
I
know somebody in every one of those markets.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm but I'm looking at the buy box of these certain buyers, and I'm like, well, let's give it a whirl. You know. And at least while they're targeting, hey, we're going to be buying 300 houses a month, you want to get a piece of that,
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Let me help you with that problem.
That's right. Let me see if I can help you with that.
Yeah. So as we wind down, I know you had something you wanted to ask him, because I know you got a flight to get to. You figure out what flight you're going to take? Because right now we might have.
I'm probably going to take the 6 o'clock flight.
You're going to have to. You're going to be running through the airport.
Yeah.
So let's go back to 2009.
Yeah.
All right. Give Anthony from 2009 some advice that could either help you, expedite your learning curve, change something. Give yourself some advice. What would you go back and give yourself?
Man, I wish I would have, at the gate, I would have known about the wholesale method, because I just didn't learn it right away.
Right.
Because me and my mom signed up, because my mom got in business with me, and so we signed up with with this outfit, but they didn't really teach wholesaling. They were really on the fix and flip model. But at that point in time, that was going to the wayside. And but knowing now, I would definitely tell myself to invest in marketing. Even with that first check that I got, put that towards some, maybe allocate 3 months of direct mail campaigns off of that,
right? And
just set that money aside. Just know that's going to go, and then just build off of that. Now, as far as building a team, that definitely could have been something I would have, could have thought about doing too. But like you said, when you're first starting out, you're really just trying to get some money under your belt.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can get too much in the weeds of trying to have everything lined out perfectly, before you make that first move. But I'm of the mindset, do you 10 deals first, wholesale deals, before you even think about trying to hire a team, build a team, this, that, or the other, because you want to be able to know what you're doing and that you can talk to and train someone else to do it,
right? Before
you want to start, getting all this other stuff, websites and business cards and all that kind of stuff, hiring people, because you don't want to shoot your budget out the door before you even get started. So because you got, so it may take, so for somebody, it may take only 2 months to get those 10 deals, because they may have more money to allocate towards marketing that you didn't have, but someone else, it may take, it's not uncommon to get your first deal in 6 months or 4 months, because you're just trying to figure out your way.
Yeah, absolutely. It took me 6 months.
Yeah, and not everybody comes out the gate in the first 30 days and gets a check. It happens very rarely, but for the most part, it's not gonna happen that fast.
Yeah.
So
I see that all the time, where people are on Facebook groups, like, hadn't got my first deal, been marketing for the last month.
It's been 3 weeks.
Right.
What am I doing wrong?
What do I need to do? And everybody that's on there is like, okay.
It's been 3 weeks. What are you talking about?
It's been 3 months. That's your answer.
That's right. And that's why I said, if you're going to do whatever marketing strategy you're going to do, you got to at least give yourself 90 days to really even see any kind of return on it. It just happens like that. So
done is better than perfect is so hard for people to learn. And I'm plagued by the subjective. So if anything has any room for an opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if it's just subjective, it's just, well, this is the marketing piece that I like.
That's right.
Somebody else is like, well, no, I like this piece. It's
That's
like, well,
right.
shoot, you can't please everybody. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just finish it. Just send it.
Just do it. Because somebody, like you said, a seller could have been contacted, 10 times, but you may be the 11th person that they got a direct mail piece from, and you're the one they're calling, so you just never know. You just got to do it.
Yeah, and we see it all the time. Like, it could be a new wholesaler just getting started, but like I say, it could be they get one their first month, and we could have been marketing to this person,
same
forever.
Same person. That's right.
And it's not to say that they're any better a salesperson. They just landed at the right time.
That's right.
That's what it boils
That's
down
it.
to.
That's what it comes down to.
So send it. If you're listening to Anthony, what he's saying is, if you want to get going in this business, you need to send some marketing and talk to some people.
You got to talk to some people.
Right.
Yeah, you got to.
Simple as that.
To.
Okay.
You got to get it out there. You got to be willing to fail forward.
Right. Yeah. So how do people get in touch with you?
Well, on our Instagram, you can look me up on as Mr. ATL Wholesaler, and that's MRATL Wholesaler.
Okay.
Also on Facebook. But yeah, I mean, shoot, if somebody reaches out to me and wants to connect, I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay.
I do it all the time. So, but we look to we work with a lot of new wholesalers that are getting into the business as well, and they need help marketing a property, so we do a good bit of that too. So
okay. All right, perfect. So if they want to do a JV deal with you, they just hit you up on Instagram?
That's right. That's right.
I think that's a huge win for newer wholesalers.
That's right.
Too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone back and forth on whether or not there was, if we were really earning our value.
That's right.
But hands down, 100%. I don't even know if now my opinion is that the wholesaler deserves 50% of the deal, because it's just the amount of knowledge that a lot of our, now friends have gotten from that relationship and that exposure and whatnot. And not to say that we have some like magic pill, but there is a mindset, and like to what we were saying about the masterminds, get around the right people.
Yeah, that's right.
And if doing a deal together, sharing equity on a deal is the way to do it, then do it.
That's right.
It's absolutely worth it.
Yeah,
It's worth it.
It's funny that you said that. The first JV deal I did, that a wholesaler, helped me sell the property. I end up with a buyer that we're closing an apartment on Wednesday.
Yeah, the dude's funded.
So, and that's 5 years later, or 4 years later, however long it's been. So yeah, it's funny you say, do they deserve 50%? Maybe so, right? But it's what happens after that.
That's right.
Is what I see out of that.
I mean, think about all the knowledge that in the hours, the blood, sweat, and tear. I was talking, and it didn't occur to me until I mentioned it, with the $20,000 spent on what I thought was going to be a wasted campaign. And I was just really curious about it. Well, we spent way more than that now.
Yeah.
We know a lot of things that don't work and do work. And, there's really no secret answer. All the information's out there. There's no,
It's all out there.
But there's stuff that just like you have to align it. Like when we got our butts kicked on PPC by people that were buying over the phone because we didn't get there fast enough. It's a different kind of lead.
It is, yeah.
Whereas there's like high equity lists that you got to work for 6-8 months to get the deal.
That's right.
And that list may come across like a year from now.
You may get and they always do.
I still got your car.
They always do, and they're always like $40,000 deals. You're like, man, this I just burned $20,000 on marketing and got nothing from it. Meanwhile, you get like a year later $60,000.
Man, I love those, man.
Those are beautiful, aren't they? Like they call a number and you're like, I didn't even know this number was active.
There you go.
That's right. Let's go ahead and ink it up.
Exactly. You're the only one talking to them.
That's right. So that's sweet.
So Anthony, man, thanks for coming on. I think
pleasure, man. Pleasure.
It's good to have you in Houston.
I got to sit down at Wholesale Nation, man. I'm happy, man.
We need to get
I see y'all when y'all do y'all podcast. I was like, man, I need to get on that show.
There you go.
We need to order the XXL.
Yeah. But actually, man, I'm leaning up a little bit, man. So
you are.
Man, give me an XL. I might.
No, these things are. This is a large.
This is a large.
Okay. I'll probably take a 2.
Yeah, you're gonna need a 2X.
But yeah, man, we appreciate you for coming on to the show.
No doubt.
We know you bring a lot of good
I'll
knowledge.
be back, and like you said, I'm gonna come back, man. And like I said, we're gonna do some deals out here too. So
okay, we're looking forward to it.
That's for sure.
Well, guys, again, if you like what you hear, don't forget to smash the like button and leave us a review. Andy's been looking through the reviews, and we definitely need a lot more reviews.
Leave a review.
We appreciate it. All right, that'll get us more viewers. But with that said, we appreciate everyone for listening. Y'all come back now. You hear?